Welcome to the DORKLAIR Collecting live stream. I am your host, Bill. With me is my co-host today, Steph, and our special guest this time, DeStasio, to celebrate 100 years of toy pizza. Congratulations.
That's right.
That is a long time. You are a lot older than you look.
Yeah, well, it's diet. It's all diet. You don't need gluten, you don't need dairy, and you can live to be 220 as I am.
So, any recent pickups? Let's start with recent pickups. Steph, have you picked anything up recently? Oh, you're muted? Steph, I can't hear you.
Better now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, today I got the O'Neill Black Hole series.
Same
Here.
So did Everett as well. Yeah. So that was a fun day. So I was sort of putting them up as best I could, and
Everett's there in the chat.
He made it. He wasn't sure if he could.
Yeah, same thing. I got that in, and I ordered like some extras. So I ordered like 2 of a couple things because I went a lot of the red stuff because I want to do some building, which I don't do enough of, where it's like I buy like a bunch of extra of the color and then do some building with it. So I'm gonna mess around with that. I already started making some feet, but
this might be a minor spoiler, but I love that with the big red guy whose name completely escapes me at the moment. There's a secondary robot included, kind of a weird.
Yes.
I made him into kind of like a walker robot. What is the character's name? Why am I?
So this is the Synchromillion in Sentinel Droid.
Right, but the
Maximilian.
Maximilian. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I mean, any day when you get a box from O'Neill, it's like, all right, clear the calendar, locking myself in the room, taking my belt off so I can move a little bit, and it's time to build, time to make the thumbs bleed.
Yeah, I'm actually like partially. I hurt my finger, and I'm like partially capable of building right now. The weirdest, flukiest thing I was, and the initial part of this is going to sound really bad. We have a fold out bed, and I was folding it back in. None of the like getting it caught in this thing, none of that happened. I was merely tucking the pillows back in afterwards, just sort of like doing this with pillows, right? And I just like jammed this finger ever so lightly, like I heard a little like knuckle crack on a pillow, or like an edge of like a plush couch, like a upholstered edge.
We're getting old. That's all I can
seriously.
Wow, Bill.
And I heard a little crack. And I thought, oh, my knuckle cracked. And I held my finger up, and like this from the knuckle up, it was just, it was completely painless. And it was just like this. It was like non-functioning. It was just sort of flapping. And like, I could close my hand fine, but when I opened it up, this was still kinked that way. And I was like, oh my God, I think I just broke my finger somehow. Like, what the hell? And so we went to the urgent care, and they x-rayed it. There's no bone breakage. There's no fracture or anything like that. They think it's a tendon thing. And I have an appointment with an orthopedic surgeon on Monday to have somebody who actually knows what they're looking at look at it. So we'll see. I hope I don't have to have surgery, but it seems like it might
it's a wonderful time, this transition from youth into old age. I just had a shoulder x-ray on Friday. This is great. I love it.
Yeah,
it's
the best.
So much fun. You instantly become Grandpa Simpson.
Absolutely. Yep, 1000%. That was my week as well.
Totally.
I did have some pickups or some deliveries, and I haven't been buying a lot lately, but I did get some of the Jada Toys Mega Man figures.
Ooh,
and
nice.
I got Elect Man and Cut Man, and Mega Man's super important to me. It was a foundational sort of game when I was a kid, and also one of my first jobs in the toy industry, obviously working for Jazzwares, was working on the Mega Man line and designing the Retro Roto figures. And so I am a big believer in encouraging people to buy these figures and pre-order the new figures, because I want them to continue with this line and go very deep into the catalog of Mega Man figures. We've had a lot of different lines over the years, but they always kind of last 2 or 3 waves, and we don't really get to those weird tertiary characters. But I think Jada has a pretty good shot at doing it, and they're fantastic toys. So that was my pickup.
I'll have to pick that up. I've been seeing it, but I haven't picked it up. But I love some of the stuff Jada's put out in the past, couple years.
Benji still has his retro roto figures.
He's a man of impeccable taste.
Now he's out by you, right? Like he goes to your shows and stuff.
Not only does he go to my shows, Ben has played bass on stage with us.
Oh, nice.
Sweet.
So
Sweet.
He's a very, very skilled bass player, super nice guy.
Yeah.
And he just fits in great. He's a great contributor to the community.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Very generous as well. He's donated numerous giveaways on this show.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a lot of giveaways for the next one too. If you don't have any tonight, I can give one away.
I can offer up some nights. You want to do that?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, we could do a giveaway, sure.
Because remember I told you my friend, I did a nice sweet trade over the holiday. Nice big
yeah.
And as some extra treats, he threw in some nice fade-ins. Nice
sweet.
Older
Bill,
things.
if you like, it would be very easy for me to send out one of the Rebel Upgrade and one of the Prosciutto Nights from the site that's currently up there. So if you would like to give one of those out, one of each.
How do you spell prosciutto? Can you spell prosciutto for me?
Proscuitto, I think.
That looks.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, is that right?
Prosciutto.
Proscuitto.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Prosciutto.
Okay. You know what I used to love as a kid? Brajol. You ever have brajol? It's like a rolled meat. It's so good. But I need to look up a recipe because I haven't had it since I was a kid. All right, so let's see.
Rollatini. Best thing ever.
That's good too, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so let's put the banner.
Oh yeah, I forgot to I should tell my audience we're live, by the way. Do that right now.
Okay, so this is for the prosciutto night. #prosciutto.
Okay.
Make sure I spelled it the same way. Well, we'll see soon enough when people start putting the comments in. So hashtag prosciutto for a prosciutto night. If you want to see what a prosciutto night looks like, go to, is it knightsoftheslice.com or toypizza.com?
Either
okay, either will take you there, and it'll be probably on that first page, right?
It's really nice. It's a really nice
do not
combination.
This figure, I just want to be clear. We've had a lot of problems with this. It's not made of prosciutto.
Okay.
You cannot.
That's a disclaimer. You need, for sure.
I've been advised by legal counsel I really have to be clear about this. Do not eat it. Don't do it. It seems like I shouldn't have to say this, but we do, unfortunately.
This is the world we live in today.
Yeah.
All right. So while we are collecting entries for the prosciutto night giveaway, let's do a little toy news. And then we'll get into our celebration of 1,000 years of toy pizza.
1,000.
Okay. So first up, we have on Monday. This came quick, probably too quick for me. It's the New Year's Legions in stock sale. So a lot of the stuff from the last few months of last, basically all the Legions Con stuff here. Is going up for sale in stock. So if you want something get on there right away, because it's not like a pre-order where they just make them as many, it's not like a timed thing. It's just like stuff will sell out. So like, I think the Ninian infantry will likely sell out, and probably some of the armory experience knights will sell out as well. The others should have a decent supply of the other ones, because those are first runs of those. So like the Legion's Con exclusive Gorich and Gaspar 2-pack, the top 2 Legions on the left and the right, and then the Cosmic exclusive on the bottom left and the bottom right. Those are this is the first time we're seeing those like single carded, so that there should be like a ton of those. So I would say, like, if you're playing the game or you're trying to get stuff, go after the knights and the Ninian first, and then circle back for the other guys. And then they said there's also going to be some other stuff dropping in, and they had this banner, and I kind of broke it in two so that you could see it a little better. But in this banner we have Zarya, we have a Fury Orc, Brother Mandibulus, Faunus.
Nice.
Someone in the bottom. Can you see what's in the bottom right? It's too small for me.
Like
maybe a Gonks.
Thistlethorn.
Oh, is it? I think it's Gonks, the goblin. And then let's see what else we got here. And then looks like Snag, Kador, Calavius, Elf Ranger, and then also some of the recent Figura Obscuras will be available as well. So, and that's not to say that that's everything, or that those are definitely going to be there, but those are the things that are in their like banner that they posted. So I would say, like, there's a pretty good chance that those things are going to be there, but definitely all of this stuff, like, definitely going to be there. That's 11 a.m. on Monday. And there are limits: 3 Ninian infantry, the snake guy, 3 of those per person, 1 of each armory knight per person. And that includes the all-in. So you could buy all 10 in one shot. If you buy that, you can't buy any others. I think they said for the first 24 hours. So
that seems reasonable.
Steph,
it just occurred to me. So there's the Gaspar figure. I've now known George Gaspar for, I think, 20 years.
Wow,
that is shocking to me. But he was the sort of he was my contact at Gentle Giant when I worked at Play Along Toys, and we Gentle Giant did all the prototyping for Lord of the Rings: Armies of Middle Earth. So we would have to sort of correspond back and forth, and we were both sort of like toy collectors and things like that. So we really hit it off, and it's been a long, fruitful romance with George over these past 2 decades.
Nice.
I love talking.
Awesome.
He was clean shaven when I first met him too, by the way.
Really?
He was sharing some photos of him working at a prototype company, or not a what do you call it?
Movie
like
effects.
Movies.
Yeah.
Movie effects. Yeah. And he looked very young and fresh in those. And that I think that was even after what you're talking about, is my guess.
Yeah. George has lived many lives.
I've seen a picture. I had to ask him, who is that? I was like, wow.
And now you can own an action figure inspired by him.
Inspired by him.
And I gotta say that set is probably my favorite of the two, like between the mythic and the cosmic. The Chris and George set is.
When we got home, the aftermarket for that was crazy.
Oh really?
Oh my god, yeah, like ridiculous price.
The cloth goods alone are like, there's such nice quality and textures and stuff like that. So it's a great pair of figures. The ones that are going to be on sale Monday are missing they're missing the exclusive pieces that came in the packs, like some of the heads and stuff, but they're still like loaded figures with a lot of great stuff. And they're only going to be $37, I think. I don't think they only posted the prices of the knights. They'll be $37 or $40. I'm not sure which. Cool. Cool. And then I wanted to talk about the Cursed Dead Kickstarter, which these guys have been like working on this for over 5 years at least. Because I remember 2019 because it was like pre-pandemic, and that kind of sticks out to me as like a a time before the times, you know. So they've been working on this for many years, and I think they may have like taken a break from it for a little while or whatever, but these look fantastic.
I was like an hour one backer for this. I've known Phil and Adam and Dave for a very long time, and Phil Ramirez in particular, like so much of early Toy Biz, which I think set the stage for almost everything that came after it. You know, Toy Biz was kind of doing their thing before McFarlane came on the scene and kind of further transformed things.
Mm-hmm.
Phil is responsible for so much of that. Even you can even go back to his work for Varner Studios and Ninja Turtles, right? I think he was still in high school or just out of high school when he started doing Ninja Turtles. Wow. Phil's contributions and working with Jesse Falcon at Toy Biz and that very interesting period from when the sort of Marvel figures were very kind of based on superpowers and then started to change and become more dynamic and add articulation, add ball joints, and then eventually getting to the Spider-Man movie line and then Marvel Legends. You know, Phil was a huge part of all of that. And I still think to this day, you know, some of his work on like the Mr. Fix-It Hulk or the Hulk, the entire like Hulk subline, it's some of the best figures out there. I mean, they're a bit goofy by today's standards. They're not as articulated, you know, size and scale were all over the place. But, you know, I think he's easily one of my favorite sculptors of all time. And you know, I'm super excited for this line. I'm glad that they were able to launch this. And, you know, I'm behind whatever they're going to do. That's a great brain trust there. And I think they'll do great stuff.
And that, you know, that speaks volumes about there's a lot of Kickstarters out there and not all of them are industry veterans, you know, like this one. And so I think there's a certain amount of trust you can have in a Kickstarter like this, as opposed to something that's random and an unknown commodity. And you're just not sure who's really even running it. And if they're, you know, if they've got all their, you know, all their stuff lined up right. So,
yeah, this is not a fly-by-night operation selling like AI renders of action figures and trying to
very beautiful.
Solicit pre-order money, you know.
Yeah. So, we have 5 different, and one thing I will say about this that I like, similar to Odious, I know some of these guys are, you know, connected with Unparalleled Universe. It's kind of like one core figure and then different heads and stuff. And I think that's like a really good way to go with a Kickstarter.
Incredibly smart from a financial perspective.
Yes.
I mean, we've all seen the Kickstarters that just don't get over the line and they're asking for like $500,000 or something like that. It's because they're not approaching it this way. This is the correct way to approach crowdfunding. You have your base body, you have all these accessories, and then as you earn more money, you unlock additional bodies, you unlock additional tooling. That, you know, this is a very sort of smart, very pedigreed, sort of deliberate way of building this up. And you know, I think this is absolutely the way to do it, no question.
Yep, totally. And so you got 5 basic figures, which I'm all in for those 5. And then you have 4 deluxe figures. And I'll probably pick and choose on these. But these are 40 and then these are 85.
Now, I went for Dr. Crane because I have a very weird particular thing. I don't like symmetry in toys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I'm guilty of using symmetry in some of my sculpts and things like that, of course. But I really prefer asymmetry. I think it just makes characters and silhouettes much more interesting. So for me, this was a super easy pick because, you know, I have so many household repairs that have to happen. I could only really back one figure, and I went for Dr. Crane. That was an easy one.
Yep.
Wow.
What are your thoughts, Steph? What do you think of these?
I love the triple eyes. Yeah, definitely. I saw the asymmetry right away. I do that with some of my builds too. I always thought they didn't make sense, but they do. They do to me. These are gorgeous. I'm definitely all in for the first or 5, whatever.
The
Yeah. That's right up my alley.
the red demon and the pumpkin headed guy were the ones that really stood out.
Like I collect
cool.
pumpkins and stuff. Well, not pumpkins.
Yeah. And that's that's
like
that's a wild pumpkin head. That's pretty sweet.
It's triple head pumpkin. I love that.
Yeah.
I like it.
And then they have the breakdown of the articulation. So these things are going to have a ton of articulation. Neck, hinge, shoulder, butterfly joints, right? Just like a ton of articulation in these guys. And and there's nothing really like if you look at these bodies, like they're gonna move really well. You can just tell just by looking at them.
Oh, they look like they can stand well too.
Yeah, these guys know what they're doing. So I have the utmost faith in their ability to kind of pull this off, but also like to know the engineering that goes into these super articulated figures. A lot of companies design the figure and then just hand it over to China, who chops up the articulation and stuff. Right. That's not the case with Phil and his team. It's like these guys know exactly every curvature, how these things have to be sort of sculpted from stage 1 in order to be Secret Galaxies in the chat. Can we ban this guy? Do we have a moderator?
He's already gone. Just gotta go record a podcast. See you later, guys. He's already gone. He's already gone.
He's stealing your audience. He's like, hey guys, come over.
Right.
Despicable.
Self-promotion. Gotta do it. No, these seems like they have a good eye for not only the sculpts, but like you said, the engineering to it, because a lot of people try to do the whatever they think is hip or whatever, and you see many renditions of horror figures. I have it for many years, and these are just spot on. Definitely, there's something unique about them that sets them apart from not naming any names, but I have a very good archive of stuff like that, and sweet.
And they've stuck to their guns on these. Like they've pretty much had the same characters. Like you can tell that these are who they want to make, because they've teased them like 5 years ago, and they've stuck with it, right? Like they haven't just like, maybe they've added a couple more, but like they've stuck with the character. So you could tell that they really like what they're putting together here.
Another thing occurred to me. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Phil Ramirez did the Resident Evil figures for Toy Biz, which was kind of one of the first. I guess Tomb Raiders was a little earlier, but one of the first sort of video game lines, right? That was not a concept before Toy Biz started doing that.
Right. And
so it's nice to kind of see Phil get back to these kind of zombie-esque or creature-esque characters, because that line is incredible. The Mr. X figure, like all of the grotesque sort of
there's a sense of surrealism to them, which I don't often see in the standard
makes sense.
All right, we got one more action or character reveal here. Jesse, you want to take this one away?
I love the audience. I love DORKLAIR so much. I decided to debut a brand new character concept. Nobody's seen or heard about this before. Not even my own Patreon, which is located at patreon.com/Jesse DeStasio. Nobody there knows it. This is a brand new debut just for your audience. So let us reveal Clone Blocky. That's right. This new character. Everybody's talking about Clone Blocky. This is just burning charts. People are begging for an action figure of Clone Blocky.
Frequency
obviously
coming off that
for
side
sure.
of him. He's on
yeah.
fire.
There's a powerful energy emanating from this design. This is by my nephew, Lucas Chukis. And, obviously he was telling me the whole backstory, which I'm not going to reveal. He's obviously playing these things very close to the vest.
Right.
But yes, he has 3 arms. He has a TV head. Half of his body is glitching. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Hollywood scoops this up for the next multi-movie universe. Everybody loves Clone Blocky. Army Builder when? Hopefully soon. I mean, you could imagine what you could do with a design this powerful. So we're all watching what Lucas does here in the toy community. And, I look forward to whatever design he comes up with next.
I definitely will.
I'm already a Clone Blockhead.
You are?
Those are the fans of the Clone Blocky. They're the Clone
That's
Blockheads.
right.
Yep.
And Blocky Nation too is their hashtag.
Yeah, yes, Blocky Nation for sure.
That'll be the next giveaway hashtag, I think.
That is special.
Awesome.
And also, this is an original idea. Do not steal this idea. We will come after you. We will
definitely
sick my lawyers on you. This is an original idea of Lucas. So don't even think about it, Hasbro or Mattel. Get out of here.
Right.
Awesome. All right, let's do the let me pull this up. And we'll spin the first one for the prosciutto night.
This is making me hungry also.
I had some prosciutto, or was it Serrano? Very similar kind of ham on Christmas Day. It was delicious. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Good luck.
Good luck, guys. This is going to be good.
And so if you're not...
As long as Toy Galaxy doesn't win, I'll be happy.
Yeah, right. Pink lemonade.
Hey, there we go.
That's my girl, Koki. Monica. Mwah, mwah.
Oh, nice.
Yay!
Nice.
She loves it. Oh, my God. Yay.
If you're not connected with Jesse, message me your address or stuff, and we'll...
I can send you your address.
Forward it to Jesse.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Down.
Monica. Another one for the shelf.
Also, I do want to say briefly, I think DORKLAIR has become like my new obsession, my new go-to. Forget Toy Galaxy. That guy's a loser, okay? But
Galaxy.
One, you covering Glyos and covering my line has brought in a lot of new customers at a very needed time. So, I'm very appreciative of that. But I also think you're approaching this in a very refreshing, very earnest way, because collecting endlessly, just pure consumerism, can be a very hollow pursuit. It can just leave you kind of feeling empty. But Bill, you're always very front and center about supporting artists, supporting independent creators, and then putting your money where your mouth is. You do this as well on Patreon. And, I just want to commend you, because I think it's really wonderful. There's any number of sort of reviewers or accounts out there that are just opening packages and telling us what we think, and it's not particularly inspired, and there's nothing bigger to it. It's just like, here, go buy this, here, pre-order this. So it's always kind of nice to interact with your community, and I think it's great that you're pushing people to these individual creators and emphasizing the importance of doing that. So my hat's off to you.
And the reverse is true as well, where you're making toys that enable collectors to be creative. It's the same kind of thing with the Horsemen and the Legions and all that stuff. Yeah. It's like you get these figures, and it's not just, oh, here's this figure, let me now put it on my shelf, and it's just there forever. You're playing with them, you're popping them apart, it's a much more interactive experience, and I very much like to
get excited
encourage
with your friends
others
over certain collections too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Which I love.
Yeah.
Like a drop comes, and when the box comes, I get the pictures. I just get this. So it's cool to get excited.
Yeah, it's great. And, I think the Horsemen are a great example, because they have this ecosystem where all these different artisans who do different aspects of enhancing figures or making customs. You know, the CS Jim, the guy that does the clock.
Jessam, yeah.
C. Jessam. Fantastic, right? And to see
Yeah.
his booth and get to chat with him, and then everybody that creates these unique heads, and you got different people who are good at painting, different people good at dioramas. Like, this to me is the interesting part of the hobby. It is not the pre-order this and, you know, buy this figure here, because, like, you know, the toys eventually we get sick of or we move on from or whatever. It's a fleeting sort of experience. It's this ecosystem, this community that is like the part that is interesting to me, and that kind of like gets me interested every day to share something or make a video or make a comic or things like that.
Absolutely. All right. So let's pull up. All right, well, do you want to pull up the, let me pull this back up first and we'll go here.
Yep. That's Clone Blocky, by the way.
Yep. Clone Blocky.
Got it.
Okay.
Do not steal Clone Blocky.
No, I'm going to.
All right, everybody, screenshot Clone Blocky, but don't steal it.
No.
Okay. So this is your latest video. I watched it yesterday, and it's fantastic. It is the first, and I was wrong. It wasn't 1,000 years. I'm sorry. It's 10 years. Sorry to
feels like 1,000.
I thought it was sort of, you know, tongue in cheek.
Yeah. So this is the first 10 years of lore of the Knights of the Slice. You want to talk about this?
Sure. So yes, we are at the 10-year mark of Knights of the Slice, which is my independent toy line that utilizes the Glyos system. For people who, you know, are not familiar, I would say I'm very active with storytelling, with comics, with making videos, even music that supplements the storytelling. And once a year, I kind of like to sit down and make a short film. Last year, I did one on subcultures, which was my art exhibit that I did prior to being in the toy industry 20 years ago. And so for this year, I was like, you know what? We have a lot of new people here. Not everybody is going to buy a comic book or read a, you know, short story or things like that. Can I just cram a decade into, let's say, 20 minutes? You know, can I do this? And so it became a bit of a speed run. And to be honest, going back and rereading stuff, I had forgotten completely about characters and story arcs and where they are. And, you know, but all that is to say, I feel very fortunate to have been creating this story for 10 years and that there's an audience that is engaged and interested. Because I think a lot of great writers or a lot of great creatives may never find an audience. They may never have anybody but their friends and family kind of read or experience their work. So, you know, it's all very humbling for me. And to go and record and then pull images from the past 10 years and put them all together, it's overwhelming how much lore there is out there. And for me, process-wise, I'm sort of putting down tracks as the train is coming. I'm not stopping and thinking about these things. I will often get a new figure from China and then write the story that day and then release it later that week. So, you know, it's kind of amazing that it all fits together. But anyway, I think I've said enough about it. If you want to share a little clip, maybe, I don't know. What's the plan?
That's what we'll do.
We won't make you watch all 18 minutes or.
All aboard.
No, in fact, that's not the way to frame it here. We're just giving you a little teaser.
This is a little.
You need to go
taste it.
Go later and watch the whole thing. We won't give you the whole thing here. Here we go.
We're not giving you the whole leg of prosciutto right now.
just a bite off of that leg.
That's right.
No, just a slice. Nice thin, paper thin slice. All right. Let us know in the chat. Just confirm that you can hear this. Here we go.
2025 marks the 10-year anniversary of Knights of the Slice, and I'm going to attempt to do the impossible. I'm going to condense the entire decade of KOTS storytelling in a very short, succinct video. Wish me luck. A fair warning, This video will contain spoilers for storytelling up until December 2024. There will be no mention of any stories 2025 and beyond. Our tale begins in 1984 when conglomerate Fred Foods Incorporated relaunches the ancient order of the Knights of the Slice to act as modern-day mascots and bodyguards for their franchise, Pizza Shunt. Throughout history, the Knights of the Slice acted as sentinels guarding citizens' most precious resource, food. Now they're being rebranded as kids' meals, toys, and Saturday morning cartoon heroes. This corporate initiative portends the food wars, which broke out shortly thereafter. Worldwide scarcity begins and the formation of mega corporations are permitted to combat starvation. CEOs are hailed as saviors, but which segments of the global population they choose to actually save is a question no one asks for decades. It's around this time the first Knight of the Slice is maimed in battle. His face is melted off during a mission and his position is terminated to avoid the huge medical bills Fred Foods would have to pay. The first Knight swears revenge. BLT arc.
All right. That's one arc. Is that enough, or we want to keep going?
Yeah, no, I think that's good.
That's good.
And
okay.
as Grizzly Horn says, this is dark AF. Yes. I did not intend to predict the future when I started making this a decade ago, but it has been pointed out many times that there's a lot of themes about conflict and scarcity and global warming and things like that have unfortunately come to be present, or even the prevalence of Seamless and Grubhub and delivery services. Like they were in their infancy when I started that. Now that is like oh God, Erwin Papa's here. Can we ban this guy too? No. Erwin, of course, he's contributed probably more than any other artist, and you saw some of his work pop up there. Not only is he a fantastic sculptor and has sculpted quite a bit of Knight of the Slice figures, but he's an incredible illustrator, comic artist, graphic artist, and really the very early days of comic storytelling for Knights of the Slice were able to happen because of him. And also, you should be watching his Twitch live streams. He does a lot of live drawing, and it's really quite educational.
I'm looking for his card. I have his Santa card over here somewhere.
He's not a nice guy, though, in person. I want to be clear. Oh, and Addie Rock is here, too. Wow, everybody's here.
There's the
there we go.
This is awesome.
Yes, Erwin did the holiday card for us, the Dark Santa.
Oh, yeah. Showing us that.
That's sweet.
That is Matt Dowdy being depicted there. And I did notice there was a couple people, I think, from your audience that joined the Patreon this week and watched the lore video and got to sort of dip their toe in. So it was sort of a perfect timing to have a video like this, because there are new people, and it's such convoluted storytelling, because it's sort of been released. Like I started doing postcard comics the first couple of years, so it was just like 2 pages, very brief storytelling, and then moving into full graphic novels, and then just kind of web comics and stuff like that. It's sort of all over the place, and I like fragmented narratives. Like if you look at Elden Ring or the Dark Souls games, that's a fragmented narrative. There's no cinematic you watch that explains the entire story. You pick up little bits and pieces when you get an item. You read the item description that fills in about this character. So I was always very fascinated by that, and because it is prohibitively expensive to do animation or to be doing graphic novels all the time, I had to kind of tell the story in little bits and pieces where I could. I see also we do have Kenneth West in the audience as well, and Kenneth made my job making that lore video so easy, because he's done scores and scores of these stop motion animation videos that are incredible.
Beautiful. They're great.
What's Kenneth's handle here?
He's under Circus 106673.
There he is.
Which I don't think he's ever explained that screen name. And you know what? Maybe he doesn't need to. Maybe it's better if we
just a
don't know.
pun.
It has that sort of like old pencil test kind of feel to it, which I love. I adore that. Very, very good. It's refreshing to not see
I will say,
anymore.
so I think I joined the Patreon like
actually,
maybe middle
Bill,
year.
You're a great case study because you've been with us for about a year, and now you've got to sort of play catch up with the lore video.
Yeah, so I wanted to say that like I joined at like the $5 or whatever, and then you opened up some of the $30 action figure of the Millennium level tier, right? Mm-hmm. And then I was like, you know what? I'll do this for a little bit because it's, you know, it's a decent amount of money, $30 a month. Sure. And then by the time the second one that I got came out, I was like, it's so good that I'm going to find a way to like budget this in and cut somewhere else. Right. Like I'll order, you know, one less Mezco figure or, you know, whatever it is, like I'll budget this in because it's so cool. So every other month, why don't you kind of describe the action figure of the Millennium?
So, you know, at patreon.com/DeStasio, there's the $5 option, and that's great. That like really helps continue this project, and you get to see videos like this early, get to see behind the scenes toy designs, abandoned projects, all that great stuff. There is also, when slots are open on a limited basis, there's also the $30 and $50 tier. And this gets you into the action figure of the Millennia Club. And so essentially, every 6 weeks, you get 2 mystery Glyos action figures. And it's not just the figures that sort of arrive. You also get sticker sheet. Usually you get 2 card slicer cards, which is the card slicer is a whole nother conversation, but there is a in-universe game that we usually all play when we get together at Toy Pizza Expo and things like that. And then also you unlock a secret stop motion animation video from Kenneth West. And usually these things are all themed together. So you get a story that unfolds between these 2 characters that you've received. You get to watch the stop motion animation of these characters and have the trading cards and everything else. So that is kind of the higher tier premise. And it is asking a huge leap of faith from people. Give me $30 a month. Or in the case of this sort of double patrons, they're giving me $50 a month. This is an insane sort of ask. But it's very popular. People do it. And I think that I love getting stuff in the mail. I like all the ephemera that, you know, when you get a sticker sheet or you get pogs or whatever the case may be. Like, I love stuff like that when it's included in parcels and things like that. So I just kind of tried to pull together everything that I'm into, everything that excites me. And, you know, it seems to have resonated with people. I think it's, in some ways, kind of the antidote to just seeing, you know, a figure be put up for pre-order at a live stream and then waiting a year and getting it and doing your review videos and everything else. This kind of shakes up that process because you don't know what you're getting. You could hate it. You could absolutely love it. Yeah. If you don't like it, it could be worth money on the secondary market or as a trade. Like, you know, I think that's kind of the premise. And the bonus to that, the cherry on top is that we also have a Discord, and the community is incredible. It's wonderful. And there is a real fostering of creative talent within the Squires of the Slice that I don't see elsewhere on the internet. There are any number of people that had no creative output whatsoever in their lives who have joined us and come on the Discord and seen other people posting their sketchbook pages every day, or resin figures that they were making, the 3D prints that they've done. And over the years, these people have grown into major creative powerhouses. And part of why we have Toy Pizza Expo every summer is to give a showcase to all these different Squires, give them, you know, a platform where they can show off their creative projects. They can collaborate with other makers. They can, you know, to me, that is the most crucial part of this. It's this creative community. It's helping each other kind of make what we visualize into a reality. And you know, I can't thank the group enough for being so great at fostering this. And you know, just today we have a new squire, and he was like, I love seeing everybody's drawings. I want to get back into drawing. What do you guys recommend? And so I said, go to life drawing classes wherever you are. Everybody else chimed in with the books that they like, what artists they follow. Like, it was like instantaneous, like, you know, pouring gasoline on this guy's creative fire. And I know he's going to start posting his artwork, and I just see all these people being able to flourish, and it's wonderful. I think that you know, that's the main driving force here for me.
And evolve, like we need to support artists. I mean, we see so much just manufactured art, right? Like, and I feel like there's this space that's now being occupied by these algorithmic things that are not really art, that are occupying the space of the real artist, and they're sort of pushing the attention away. And I'm like I very strongly want to like push back against that. And I think supporting artists is the way to go.
The dead internet theory, right? That if not already in the near future, the internet is going to be sort of bot Facebook groups with AI content being commented on by AI bots.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just garbage. It's slop, right?
Yeah.
It's such garbage and misinformation. You know, you're not teaching anybody about real arts or anything. You know?
It's slop. It's absolute slop. There was just there's a big lawsuit against Spotify because they've been allegedly generating their own AI songs and then promoting their own AI songs. And, you know, just it's a very invasive, destructive thing. And not to say, look, there are applications for AI. I've certainly utilized it for certain things like upscaling, things like that. I'm not here to kind of throw the baby out with the bathwater, but I would say that we're in this really bad moment in history where our information systems have been compromised. The internet and technology was sold out a long time ago for marketing and ads. And the manifestation of AI is as far as like content goes, it's like an oil slick. It's just completely destructive and keeps bleeding into every sector of our lives. So as you pointed out, Bill, the way to get around that is to go direct to people who are genuinely making, I hate to say content, but you know, producing creative things that affect you. If it affects you, find a way to slip this person a couple bucks so that they can keep kind of pushing the tide back with a broom against you know, what we're looking at. So you know, I think it's super important to follow as many Patreons as you can. If you're in a position to contribute, do that. You know, I really agree with the way you sort of approach it. And I think even if it looked like generally the vibes are pretty bad right now, this is kind of a dark moment in not only America, but I think globally. Like, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. I don't think that's a controversial statement. And it can kind of feel hard to like enjoy things that you like during dark times, and it can be hard to put money towards things you like during dark times. But if you want those creative voices to still be around when we get back to good times, now is the time where that is kind of tested. Now it's more important than ever to
great way to think about it.
Throw a couple bucks to Toy Galaxy so he can keep making movies. You know, throw a couple bucks to DORKLAIR. Find the artists you like on Ko-fi or on Patreon, and even if it's $1, $5, like, it makes people like me insanely happy when they see new names pop up. Like, it's euphoric. So very dark time. Creative voices are sort of needed more than ever. Find a way to kind of help people continue this fight against slump.
And the communities that we, you know, this community or the communities in the toy world, the art world, or whatever, like, that's a way to push back against the darkness, because that shit's depressing. And there are ways to find community and friends and share interests that can like combat some of that depression.
Yeah, and you know, on that tip, this is why live events have become
helps that too, you know.
Yeah, no question. This is why live events have become such an important part of what I do. We have, you know, Toy Pizza Expo in the summer, and then Ultra Clash in December. And these are meant to be kind of bookends for not just my community, but people in general, you know. And you know, I think I've gone on this event jag before, but going to a comic show or a toy show, that's fun and that's an okay experience. But you know, I'm trying to build events that are multi-sensory, and it's not about just a commercial sort of interaction where you're buying a toy and then you move on. It's like, have some good food, listen to some music, see some live music, see, you know, be exposed to artists you might not come across otherwise. So I agree with you. And you know, I think that this is the plan on how you can just like enjoy your life a little bit more, even if externally things are not going in a great direction, you know?
Yep. I wanted to throw up a few comments here. Curtis said, this is some great information for the Gly curious folks out there.
I believe they're called glysexuals.
Glysexuals.
Do not steal that idea.
Yep.
Thomas.
Wrote it down.
Thomas says, it's been the greatest creative push I've had since college. Without the grades.
Thomas is a great example. He is an incredibly talented musician. And, you know, I don't want to take credit for this, but he did put out an album of songs, and it is very well regarded amongst the community. Everybody's always asking for more. I have it on constant repeat. And I think that, you know, maybe he had already recorded that album. Maybe he would have made that jump without us. But I think he released it and he had a soft place to land and a sort of avenue to share that was built in. So I don't want to take too much credit, but I think that, you know, the Squires of the Slice really provided, you know, just a place for that to exist.
And Pink Lemonade is Cokie, right?
Yeah.
So
yes.
She's saying, my son and I literally had this conversation in the car today. Yeah.
Let's go, Mama. Yeah.
And then we get the hashtag Gly Curious.
There we go.
And Ben G saying, be and support your local weirdo. Be a local weirdo and support your local weirdos. And we now have the hashtag local weirdos. There we go.
Gly Curious local weirdos.
Local weirdos sounds like a band name for sure.
Yeah.
That's great.
We also we were talking about the action figure of the millennium. This is last year's lineup.
Yes. So, yes, this is all the figures that somebody at the $30 level would have received in 2024. This to me was the most focused year for me, and the year where nothing went catastrophically wrong. I kind of got to make every single figure I wanted. There were a couple minor hiccups here and there, but generally this year felt fully fleshed out, and like I finally figured it out 5 years in how to like manage this club and fulfillment of it and the production and you know, all of the logistics involved. And I think no set was more emblematic of kind of coming into my own with this than the November December, which is these two very light Star Wars homages, but it tied into a nice comic and a stop motion animation and a sticker pack and everything else.
Yeah, that felt very complete, and just it's got me really looking forward to this year, in that I know you said that you want to be on that level for the next 12 months.
Man, I wish I could show you what January or February is. It is.
I can't wait.
So good, and I am like, I'm dying for people to get a hold of it. But yeah, I think that November, December, these two guys in the bottom right, this is a good example Now you're not seeing all their accessories and things, but that's fine.
Nor are you seeing the video and the story.
The
like you're not seeing all the
right.
stuff.
I love that you got the little man there too. In the top right, left, right, and bottom left. I love him.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think this is a fair illustration of, at least on the figure side, what one would expect at the $30 level of a Patreon throughout the year. I think, and I'm pretty confident in promising, I think we're going to even over deliver based on this for 2025.
And you get two?
Awesome.
Yes, you get two. So originally it was $30, one figure a month. It became almost impossible to ship out that many packages within a 30-day time frame, that I eventually said, okay, every 2 months it'll go out to everybody. And that just changed my life in such a more positive way.
Right.
But it also gives you a little more time to anticipate. And then you have two characters that kind of play off of each other within the storytelling aspect. So it's,
that's cool.
I think it works better.
There is something to be said about like reducing the number of shipments you're getting in when you're collecting, because it can get to the point where it's just like almost too much stuff.
Well, it's not special anymore.
Yeah, right. Yep. Rob Zamora with the $2 super chat. What's a Glyos? Jesse, would you like to answer that question?
I don't believe this is a question in good faith. So Glyos, the Glyos system was invented by Matt Dowdy, O'Neill Design, and it is a system of pegs of a specific size that fit together. So every figure you're seeing on this image here, you can pop the limbs off, you can pop the heads off, you can swap every single part. And if you start to look closely, you start to see, oh, this torso is actually that character and these arms. It is this modular system, not unlike Lego, that allows 3 3/4 inch action figures to kind of work together. And the combinations are absolutely endless.
Yeah.
So I feel very lucky to be part of the Glyos system and playing in Matt Dowdy's sandbox. And for me, I think this is the perfect expression of a 4-inch figure. I think that like I like articulated figures. I have made some articulated figures, but I think there's something so nice and so simple about this form, and then the ability to also swap the limbs and create new creations on the fly. That to me is like, it's perfect. It's just such a perfect idea, and you can iterate on it endlessly. Obviously, I have for a decade, probably keep going for another couple decades. But that, in brief, is what Glyos is.
Thank you, Rob. Let's see, Gorilla Customs. The multimedia experience is so nostalgic and fun to be a part of with these figures.
Well, thank you. Yeah, Gorilla Customs is one of our newer patrons who's really taken quite well to the community. And yeah, I think like there's a lot of toy lines out there that, they might launch with a TV series or something like that. But a lot of this stuff just kind of dies, it dies on the vine. It doesn't reach a huge audience, and they can't sustain the immense cost of producing animation or producing a movie or TV show, whatever the case may be. I've kind of found a way around that by just being very DIY and punk rock about I'll just put up a PDF, like, whatever you have to do to kind of get the message out there.
Right.
And it's still going.
Curtis, are you drinking? Curtis says, are there Glyos for those of us needing more than 4 inches?
No.
I think that's a double entendre, no?
That's why I'm wondering if he's drunk. Let's see.
I mean, I'm sure there's that say strap on the end of something to increase length or girth, but that might be a different stream you're looking for.
It's a custom build. Yeah. Guaisagwe says, my wife asked that same question that Rob asked at Legion's Con, and now she's in too deep. I asked for dinner. She passed me a Glyos.
Sorry, G.
Do not eat them. Again, I have to reiterate, do not serve these for dinner. Do not eat them.
Yes.
They are hand candy, not regular candy.
Right.
Yeah, there are some big God Beast builds.
Huge ones, yeah.
That would be Curtis's.
Zeroids or girthy. Well, this turtle, the
Turtle Lord.
The Turtle Lord, which is kind of based on the Cro-Mag. What is he called?
Cro-Mega, yes.
Cro-Mega, right? Like that. That's a pretty girthy figure. That's a chunky guy.
I love how yours stand, by the way, and I yeah.
Thank you.
And I like the peg the neck peg on them. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't like when toys fall over, so I always try to have, a little bit of weight at the bottom.
Oh, it's just for his eyes. He just needs to see them better.
Yeah, that's it.
I did
Curtis.
want to pull up.
Same problem.
Carl
says, Jesse, any hints on Goss colorways we might see in 2025?
Okay, so there is currently there's a Patreon only booster pack that is going to go along with AFOTM this year. And in that will be a brand new Goss and a brand new Cray figure. As Bill knows, those are the two more expensive figures, and it can be kind of difficult to budget those into the standard club. So what I've done instead is, okay, for those that want it, here's a booster or 2-pack of these two bigger, I wouldn't say hyper articulated, but more articulated figures. So that's an excellent question. I'm actually trying to decide that this week, and I have a million different ideas. I wouldn't even know how to hint at it because I haven't quite decided yet. But I would say that like some of the neon colors are definitely playing in my mind and are high on the list of what I'd like to see. But it could go any way at this point.
How long do I have before to order that particular booster set?
I'll probably leave it up until February, I think. I don't, okay. It's almost Chinese New Year, and I don't think I'm going to order it prior to that. So, okay. For members of the Patreon, I'll probably leave it up, and it can just be I didn't want it to be a sort of high pressure thing because I know obviously everybody renews their accounts in January, and Four Horsemen have this huge drop. So I was like, I don't want to squeeze people.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I'm gonna definitely add that because those are like my two faves. So I just want to make sure I have a little time. And then we have Hedgehog. 4 inches is plenty.
Yeah.
For Hedgehog.
Yeah. That tracks.
Legally, I cannot comment on that. Here's a question from the Timesmith. Jesse, can you talk about how you got involved with 1,000 Toys?
Yeah.
That's a great question. I know that we sort of decided, there it is, to work together after a very raucous karaoke evening, which is a great way to sort of gain favor of Japanese businessmen. It actually works. It really does.
It's like golfing with businessmen in the States. Yeah,
that's exactly it. So Nikki and I, and probably a couple other people, I think we all went out to karaoke at Toy Fair. This really great place, Gun Bay in Tribeca. There's only one restaurant that has food and karaoke in Manhattan, and that's Gun Bay, although that may actually no longer be true. But in any case, that was the only joint where you could eat and then go downstairs to a private room. And we just sang our asses off. And shortly after that trip, they sent us these sculpts they had made of our heads on the bodies, and they said, we want to do this. They had their minds made up, and they
just took the liberty of sculpting your head.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome. Which I have now. I have those somewhere.
Yeah. It was really a magical experience, and I wish we could have done more, but it was such a surreal thing. And then to then we got invited back to Japan. We got to go to Wonderfest, and they had our figures and our heads on display in their display case. It was just like, it's the stuff fever dreams are made of.
Right. What else we got here? Rob says, I just realized that watching both of the people that helped get me my most sought after 1,000 toys, Onell Glide Ninjas.
Yeah, he tracked it down actually. I think I got to meet Rob at Legion's Con, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was. Yep, he was there.
First time I met him too, and he's my friend.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah, he's great.
So anything else to add to your 10-year celebration here?
The only thing I would like to say is that I would love to have more people for the next 10 years. So now is a great moment to kind of join in. You can also follow the Patreon for free, and I try to do one post a week. But if you are generous, you want to do $5, you're going to unlock an entire library of videos, songs, stories, downloads, 3D files. Like it's crazy. It's a deluge. I think things are going to get very, very exciting this year. So it's like, this is just such a perfect moment for people that are gly-curious or gly-sexual to, dip your toe in, come see the community, come see the stories, watch the lore video. If it piques your interest, there's a glorious wonderful rabbit hole to go down. Not glory hole. I almost said glory hole also.
Wonder hole, which I'm intrigued now. Wonder hole.
Something different.
And look at this. Hedgehog Action has just joined. How about that?
Beautiful.
That's great. That's magic. That's the
Nice.
magic of the internet.
Yeah. Thanks for making it
before I forget,
yes.
After, can you send me? I don't think I'm in the Discord server. I need an invite. I'm not in there, I don't think.
Absolutely. Hashtag Wonderhole.
There it is.
Yes. Come find the glory in the hole of Knights of the Slice.
Wonder hole. There we go.
Space-time continuum.
Yeah, let me get the okay, I'll do that once.
Do that after. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think we're good to go. We will we'll be back next week with the yearly list. So what Chris, Larry, and I do, and Chris hasn't been collecting a lot this past year, so he's gonna miss a couple of these categories, but we do a bunch of categories. We do like best figures, like under 15, over 15 to like 50, and then like different price ranges. We do like best in all the different scales. So it's like 3 3/4 or 1/18. We do like 12th scale, and then we also do like 7-inch, and then 6 scale, and then a whole bunch of other things, like what we're most looking forward to next year, and just like a lot of stuff. Biggest surprise of the year. So we're gonna do that. Oh, Curtis with the $5 super chat. Congrats on 10,000. Thanks for the guests in the content. Yeah, we hit 10,000 subscribers. Took a little while. Took 6 years, but very happy to get to that milestone. And I did a little campaigning to try to get there by the end of the year. And I actually didn't think it was going to happen, but it did. So super pumped about that.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a big deal.
Yeah,
thanks.
YouTube is very difficult to gain traction on without buying ads. So congratulations.
Right. And I don't do like, for figures, it's really like, you got to do Marvel Legends typically to really have that kind of like bigger growth and get into the 100,000 range. So like, I'm never going to get that big if I just stick with this. So, but I'm fine with it. Like, it's like we were saying earlier, like these little small pockets of communities are kind of the place to be.
No question. I mean, don't follow the algorithm,
Yeah. No.
Like it might monetarily in the short term be the correct calculus, but in the long term and in terms of like just your soul and feeling fulfilled,
Sure.
Yep.
Unless you're like Mr. Beast, who, there's nothing going on behind the dead eyes and the cheesy smile. Unless you're an empty vessel in which the algorithm flows into you, don't do it. Just you carve out a little group of people, and shield yourself from the gamma rays of the algorithm. That's my advice.
Yeah.
Totally. I absolutely agree.
Safe,
now we're getting into
Wonder Bread Hole?
variations on the hashtag Wonder Bread Hole.
There you go.
Yeah, so we'll be back next week. Next week is our regular week. And then we'll be, every other week as usual from there. Steph and I, we're gonna do another Glyos episode at some point that we're working on.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
We'll have a lot of giveaways for that.
Yep.
Well, I like seeing all the different colorways, so.
Curtis says the YouTube stuff seems pretty easy so far. Curtis started a channel about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
ago. And he's so far he's kept up with a video a day. And they're not like these simple little videos. There's like a lot going on in his videos, whether it's a custom or a list or
that's a lot of work.
It's like a video a day is insane. I can barely do one a week, and I don't even do one a week. But Curtis, if you're able to keep up with a video a day and like sustain that indefinitely, you're gonna like blow my mind, and you're gonna grow so fast. It's gonna.
And Mr. Beast has a position for you in his upcoming cabinet.
All right.
So that belong to the Do Nothing Club. That's for sure.
For sure. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't. That genuinely like. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know. It's inspiring. A lot of people like his videos. We want to customize and paint. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and he's a very charismatic guy. Mm-hmm. Was Curtis on with you one time, Jesse? I think maybe.
No.
Maybe not.
No way.
No. Last time your buddy was compromised by the deep state, and they cut his internet.
Oh, okay. Was that? I forget who it was who was on there. Oh well.
They've been wiped from existence. We don't know. There's no way to know.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know. He's a bot now. He's taken over.
The algo has him.
Oh wait, we got one more question, then we'll go. When is the glow in the dark poncho set coming?
I can honestly say I've never thought of that until now, but that is a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
There you go. Write that down.
I particularly like your females.
Oh, thank you.
And this colorway here.
Absolutely. I would love nothing more than to add more females to the line, and I would very much like to do that this year. So it depends on getting that big Patreon money, and then I'll do something great with it.
Awesome.
I'm not eyeballing real estate in Bermuda. I'm not going to take all the money and then
if you
go through with that
us.
land deal and never come back. That's not my plan. I don't know why you thought that. It has nothing to do with it. But I do need a lot of cash right away.
Right away. Okay.
But it's not for that.
All right. That'll do it for us. Thanks everybody for watching, and until next time, pizza out.